Well, I saw an advert in the local newspaper, I think it was the Advertiser at the time, and I had been out of employment since completing my degree in June 2012, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to get into work and offer my services for free so that I could help students in their learning and development at the college.
I took up volunteering at the college because I want to go into teaching, and I thought it'd be the perfect opportunity to get some really good classroom experience, get how to understand students and work closely with them to develop my kind of professional training, but also because I really wanted to give back what influential people in my people I had in my education influenced me to go to further education, higher education, and I wanted to do that for someone else as well.
Well, I wanted to volunteer for college because I'd worked in various educational settings across my life, and actually for New College very briefly many years ago. And there's such a vibrancy about the college that you really want to be here. It's a very positive place, and you get that from both staff and students. So when the volunteering programme came up on the website, I leapt at the chance to be here. It's incredibly fulfilling, and you learn a lot yourself as well.
To have an extra pair of hands which they could call upon, really, and it helped their confidence, and it really has helped their learning experience in the classroom as well, I think.
Yeah, it's a group of 18 learners that we have in the class, and that extra support was so beneficial, especially at the beginning with their integration into college and just to help them feel settled. And they need a lot of support in that class, so having two of us was fantastic.
The new LSAs have brought a lot of new ideas, concepts and a new dynamic to the team that wasn't there already. One of my learners dropped out of my class and was picked up by Jodie, who's a new support worker, and that really helped because at the time he was he was lost for support. She came in and helped him, so I'm very grateful for that.
Helped me in the classroom because if I don't get something, she'll be like, do you get it? And I'll say no, and she'll go through it, and if I still don't get it, she'll go through it slower and again, and she'll tell me how she worked out. She makes, in some lessons, like with maths, she makes it fun. And in the one-to-one, like now, we do little activities.
Sometimes we have a chat as well.
Yeah, and we have like a chat about
What you want
general
to do.
stuff and what I want to do in life.
He's always helped me if I've got any problem with the spelling or with the words what I didn't understand very well. So if I've got any problem, I'm just asking Matthew, and he will always help me. And he's always smiling, so it's really good because that is really important for me if people sympathetic with me.
Across the years I've been a student many times myself, and currently still a student. Can't get enough of the place. So I can look at it from that perspective of where they're coming from and the challenges that they can face every day. I also had a student that when I joined the volunteering programme, I worked alongside a TA who had very established relationships with the students because she'd worked with them the previous year. And I recall working with a young lady who was very happy and welcoming to have me working alongside her, but every time we finished a task she would revert back to the TA that she knew, and she just wanted to make sure we were getting it right. And over the following weeks, that trust that built up between the two of us, it was fantastic. She invited me across to work with her, and she was quite happy with the result afterwards, and it was a lovely process to see. There was also another student who struggled tremendously with numeracy, and whenever I worked with him, he just kept apologising to begin with. Can't do this, I've had a bad time in high school, etc, etc. And so I felt my job was actually not numeracy at that time. My very first job was to kind of break down those barriers that he'd built within himself and to rebuild his confidence. And then we could tackle the numeracy, and there was one day in particular I showed him a little pattern to do with his maths, and he looked up at me and I thought, oh, okay, what's coming? And I'll tell you what was coming, the biggest grin on that young man's face, to see him light up because something has clicked in his mind and he's suddenly got it. It was such a momentous moment that it drives you to keep on, and you want to see that again and again in the students. It was fabulous because these are not just bodies sat on chairs at tables, you know, these are real people with real lives outside of college, and when you build up that relationship with your student and you have more understanding about them, then you can really work with that. They'll come in and they'll tell you, oh my gosh, I had such a weekend, and they'll tell you the tragedies in their lives. Then at the other end of the spectrum, they'll come in and say, oh my gosh, what a weekend, and you hear all the wonderful things in their lives, you know, the birth of a new child or your first date, and you can actually implement that into the work, because if they're struggling with something, you yourself can think, oh, hold on a minute, they told me something a few weeks ago, how can I work with that to make this work personal to them? And that usually, those strategies can really come across if you have that relationship with your students. It was a lovely, I remember walking home on quite high that night and telling my husband about it. I've never left a class where I thought, oh, that was a bad session, you know. There's always been something positive in that session. It could be one student or it could be several, and it gives you such an ecstatic feeling that you just want to do it again and again.